chances last year. This one's knocked up. Bowers tips it to himself, and he'll score.
Snaps it anyway. Greer lobs it in the air. Oh, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State. Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play this year. Here's a blitz, and Klubnik didn't see it coming. He got blasted by Kalen DeLoach, who has the ball and is heading toward the end zone.
Little off there, but nevertheless, what's going on, guys? It is episode 45 of College Football Talk. As always, it is me and Dylan running, steering the ship, or doing something with it. Just try not to make it sink. It will probably inevitably sink.
No. Come on.
Sorry. Anyway.
So just scream them
we got our Week 9 preview today, as we always do here on these Thursdays. Recording a little later than we wanted to, so it's going to be. I will have it posted out as soon as we're done. I'll get it posted out, and then you guys will be free to watch. The preview episodes have been just great numbers lately, so that's always awesome to see.
Yes.
Keep it up, guys. This past episode was really good. Make sure, though, guys, we need subscribers. A lot of you guys are watching, and you're not subscribed. Just subscribe, too, while you're at it.
It doesn't
hurt. It's not hard. It doesn't hurt you. There's no cost. You just hit that big red button and watch, and now you're subscribed. It makes us look good by boosting us up to the top of search pages, and then nothing but more good content gets sent out to you guys. Yeah. So we need that for sure. We're almost to January, guys. Remember, 100 subscribers by the end of the year. We are at 64. We are, what is that? I'm not good with math now.
I had a calculator up. Hold on. Hold on.
No, it's 36. Yes. No? Yes.
Yes, you're right.
So 36 subscribers, guys. Come on. There's 36 people out there I know that are watching that aren't subscribed. So hit that subscribe button and let's go.
Yes.
All right. Just like that, we will roll right into it. We got a couple good games. Not a big slate this week. So we got the 3 headliners we're really going to do. Bunch of games who's on upset alert, I think. There's some sneaky games right there for upset alert. And then we got some best bets for you guys as always. So we'll get right into it with my opinion, probably I don't want to call it the game of the week because Oregon and Utah is a highly ranked matchup in the Pac-12. We'll get into that one next, but I mean that one's more of that's like a playoff eliminator game right there. So, but we'll start off though with the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Happens every year down in Jacksonville, Florida. I will be at the game.
Nice.
Boots on the ground, as you know. Come on, guys. The scenery is outstanding. Went for the first time last year. There's nothing quite like it. I am someone, though, that would prefer it to be a home game.
Yep.
I mean, just the atmospheres at both places would be rocking and outstanding. I would much rather have that. It's going to end up being that in a couple years, and I doubt it goes back to neutral site after people see what it's going to be. And that will be after when ESPN owns it. So possible night games on tap. Look out for that. Anyway, we'll get right into the game, though. And first and foremost, I think the thing that jumps off the screen is what, Dylan, do you think is a bigger question that needs to be solved? Or it's still out there, how Georgia's offense is going to look without Brock Bowers? Or how will Graham Mertz play against, realistically, this is really his first real big defense he's played since Utah, and we know how that went.
I mean, that's a completely fair question. I think that this is going to be I think this is going to be tougher for Florida's offense than Georgia's offense. Not saying Florida has a bad defense, but if you look at just the raw numbers, they're very much middle of the pack.
Yeah.
They 87th in the country in passer efficiency. They only have 4 turnovers on the season too.
Mm-hmm.
They're not exactly the most dominant defense. So I think even without Brock Bowers, Georgia's offense should still be able to work it.
Yeah.
But the question will be Florida's offense against Georgia's defense to me, because, to me, this game has a very, very strong chance it could flip, and all of a sudden, Florida gets killed.
Yeah, I was watching a video last night about how the Georgia might just go into like that boa constrictor kind of mode where they're just gonna just completely just coil up and just tighten up, or not even like wrap you up and just squeeze you to death. Like
Yes,
that has a very realistic possibility.
absolutely.
I think if you're Florida, you're a 14.5-point underdog.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you're Billy Napier, I think that if you really want to win this, you've got to be able to hit some big shots. Explosive plays might be a sneaky thing that maybe not many people are talking about. I think Florida's got to be able to hit some explosive shots down the field. I have some stats here. So explosive plays offensively, Florida, 20-plus yards down the field, 20-plus plays. Excuse me. 20-plus yard plays down the field. They rank, that's 33 of them this year. That ranks 71st. They've only hit about 11 30-plus yarders down the field. That's 107th, and then 102nd in the country in 40-plus yard plays with 5.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia does not give up big plays down the field.
Yeah.
Georgia defensively, 20-plus yards plays down the field they've given up this year. 15, that's 3rd in the country. They rank 4th in the country in 30-plus yard plays at 6, and 9th in the country in 40-plus yard plays at 3.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're Florida, you've got to be able to just understand that, stat-wise, you're not going to be favored in a lot of categories.
Yeah.
But so you've just got to be able to just do something. Get Eugene Wilson involved. I know he's been coming back from an injury, and he was playing well, and then he got nicked up in the Tennessee game. But, he's a Swiss Army knife if you want to get him going. And you got Ricky Pearsall. You got to get Pearsall involved. He wasn't involved last year a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of I think it was a lot of Xavier Henderson, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
I apologize if I wasn't. I know he had the big touchdown. And then if you're Florida, I think the real big question becomes down to the run game.
Mm-hmm.
They have not been able to run the ball effectively these past couple weeks. And but if they've got to be able to do something, because if they become a one-dimensional team against Georgia's defense, Georgia's going to have a field of it. And they may not even have to sack you, but they're just not going to give up anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Florida's run the ball for about 140 yards a game. That puts them at 83rd in the country. Not that impressive.
Yeah. They were 83rd in the country is not going to get you much. Where has Trevor Etienne been the last couple of weeks? Montrell Johnson, they haven't been.
It just doesn't make sense.
I've watched them play. I've watched them the last couple of weeks against South Carolina, Kentucky. They just haven't done anything lately. Where are you? Where's the big plays I watched you get in Tennessee? Tennessee, Trevor Etienne was running wild. And now, where are you? Or do you just, his prop bet over-under is, 33 yards, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You think 33 yards is going to get you anywhere?
No.
No.
Not at all.
No. I'm hearing a lot of people say that, Graham Mertz has enough, is enough to, beat Georgia's defense. How much do you agree on that? So you just completely disagree?
They completely disagree. They're idiots, just quite frankly. He is the prototypical pocket passing general manager.
Mm-hmm.
He is not going to put you above other teams.
Yeah.
He is great at not turning the ball over.
Which is awesome, because that's something he can't do.
It's great for Florida, but it's not like he's going to go out and win you a football game.
Yeah.
He is going to be, he's just going to give the ball away, let his playmakers take advantage of the ball. Mm-hmm. But he is not a difference maker, in my opinion.
Yeah. He's been, listen, for what it is worth though, I do think he's been solid. He has about almost 1,900 yards.
Yeah.
12 touchdowns and 2 picks.
Yeah.
He like you said, he's like a prototypical guy. I still don't. And I just, the South Carolina defense, everyone wants to like look at how good he played. He played great against South Carolina.
But South Carolina's defense makes everybody look great.
Yeah, like South Carolina's defense is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Not good at all. Like everybody scores on South Carolina.
It's kind of a joke right now.
It is. And so I still, and listen, they told Mert, and I had someone I was wondering is if they're down 10 in South Carolina, like you've got to get us, the win. You got to go win the ball game for us. Great. I mean, and then granted, they did. I mean, they hit 2. They converted a bunch of 4th downs down the stretch, and they ended up winning.
Yeah,
and he played lights out.
Yep.
But I want to see it against a real defense. I'm sorry, South Carolina fans, but you're not a real defense.
Not just a real defense, a real team.
Yeah, I mean,
quite frankly, I mean South Carolina's fine, but you're
Georgia,
not. It doesn't
Georgia's
mean
only
anything to me
allowing
unless you do it to like Georgia.
Georgia's allowing only about 170 yards a game through the air, and only about 90 on the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
Florida only throws the ball average about 280. So they're not even throwing it a lot. Like they want to be a balanced team, but I just don't see how they're going to be able to run the ball a bunch. And so you're going to have to rely on Mertz is going to have to be able to make plays and can't turn the ball over. If he starts turning the ball over, and Georgia they are one of the more, for as bad as they are in sacks, they will pick you off. I mean, they have Tyke Smith has up there in league lead in interceptions. Malachi Starks is back there. You got Kamari Lassiter. I mean, these guys can make plays. Now,
no, you're absolutely right there.
I think if we focus now towards what does Georgia offensively need to do? Like Carson Beck, this is going to be his first game without Bowers. You look to the receivers to be like, who's going to be the guy that steps up?
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think that if you're Georgia, I'll ask you this one. Do you look at the Kentucky game that Florida played and you see Ray Davis just running wild over that team?
Yeah.
And you say, okay, listen, Deshaun Edwards just ran for a career high in rushing yards 2 weeks ago. Kendall Milton is there.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Dylan Bell gets mixed in some. Do we just hand the ball off? And just
I think you do. I think you do.
Rock?
You have a younger, less experienced quarterback. He's missing his top weapon. Why don't you give the ball off a little bit to a team has that weakness? They have the ability to fold against a good running game. Why not lean into it?
Exactly.
Obviously, I'm not a coach. I can't say for certain what they'll do.
Yeah.
But to me, this looks like a scenario where they're going to lean heavily on the run, play action. I mean, is Ladd McConkey playing?
Yeah, McConkey's there. You got
Robert Thomas.
You have Robert Thomas. You got Marcus Rosemary Jackson. You have Dominic Lovitz there. Arian Smith's still there. He's been struggling some with drops this year, but I mean, you look at Oscar Delp's going to step in the tight end spot. It'll be interesting to see if they still stick to a 12 personnel where they got 2 tight ends out there. If they do, it's going to be a sophomore and a freshman tight end out there, and either would probably be Lawson Lucky because Spurlin, I think, is banged up. But I want to see how this tight ends run block, if anything, more than pass blocking, because that's what Bowers and Darnell Washington have done so well. They've been able to seal edges and get out in space and make blocks.
Yeah.
Delp now is going to have to take on that role. And if you're going to want to win this game, you've got to be able to.
You got to get some big runs off.
Yeah.
You got to be able to run the ball down Florida's neck, get some explosive plays on them, kind of keep their defense out there for a while.
Yeah.
Too.
I think if you're Florida, you've got to be able to convert on 3rd downs.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the biggest story, stat line too. 3rd downs is just in general defensively and offensively. So Georgia converts 57% of the time on 3rd down. That is second in the country in 3rd down conversion. a 57% rate. Florida only comes in with 33% of the time. That is bottom half in the country.
Yeah.
And, you got to be able to sustain drives. But then you look at defensively, okay. Florida ranks 10th in the country, but ranks 108th in sacks. So they rank 10th in the country in third down defense, but 108th in sacks, which tells me they're getting teams in third down spots, but they're also telling me that you're not able to get home and get pressure, which tells me if you're Georgia, like Carson Beck, I think if you're Mike Bobo, you say, listen, just because it's third down doesn't mean we're not going to get intimidated by this. They have yet to show this year that they can effectively get home, and which means we're not going to shy away from what we're doing. Okay, if their shots are there, we're going to take them because we trust our offensive line to make plays. Is going to hold up and keep that continuous stat rolling. That's proved to be effective this year. I guess that they haven't been able to get pressure.
Yeah. I think there's also the just to bring up that if Georgia's able to, which I think they can because they have the defense capability to.
Yeah.
Graham Mertz cannot run out of the pocket, right?
No.
He has zero rush. He has negative rushing yards on the season. I want to put that in perspective. That is actually crazy.
Yeah.
In 2023, we have a quarterback with negative rushing yards.
Probably either he gets sacked too much or he just takes too many knees.
He's negative 60 yards on the season, so yeah, it's purely sacks.
Or kneels, I guess.
I think they don't kneel the ball at Florida. Come on.
No, that's Miami.
In this state, we don't do that.
That's true. Miami does.
Yeah, Miami's a trendsetter. So, no, but Florida hasn't been up by a lot, so they haven't really had the opportunity to kneel for a victory too often. But it's absolutely sacks. So what this tells me personally is that if you can get to Graham Mertz quick, he cannot escape the pocket.
No,
he has zero ability to.
They were tied for 105th in sacks allowed. They have given up. They average about they give up at an average about two a game, close to 3. They've given up 19 sacks this year. Georgia ranks 9th in that category, which means again. So you're telling me Florida ranks 108th in the country in sacks on defensively. Georgia keeps their quarterbacks upright and ranks 9th in the country in sacks allowed. So you're telling me that you're not able to they give up at an average less than 1 sack a game, which that's been a stat they've held for years now. And it's again, if Florida wants to stay in this game, I think the real big thing is now, and right before we move on.
Yeah.
Florida's key to win this game is they got to get pressure on back and get home, force turnovers, and hit some big shots. I realistically think that's really the only way they're going to do it. They've got to be able to. Right. They got to be able to hit some sort of couple home run shots, like either if it's like a special teams play, a big defensive play, or just a crazy offensive play, something like that. They got to be able to do that because, like I read off a little while ago, like. They come in not ranked, not being able to do it, but they've got to be able to do it. And if you're Georgia, keys are really don't change. The game plan doesn't change. Bowers is out. Okay, injuries happen. I know it's a big piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
But, look at what Ohio State did last year. Jackson Smith and Jigba didn't play at all last year.
And they still went to the playoff.
And they should have.
They lost a single game.
They lost a single game. Marvin Harrison stepped up as if he wasn't already, but he stepped up. You had other guys rally around it. And it may not even be on offense. It could be a cornerback. It could be a defensive lineman that says, listen, we're going to take this on ours now. But I think you got to be able, someone in that receiver room has got to be able to step up. Someone. They've got to run the ball effectively. Run the ball effectively. And just limit the turnovers.
Yep.
So
I agree with you.
Let's go ready for predictions now.
Yep.
All right, we'll let you go first.
So I think Georgia wins in a semi-close one. They win 31-20. I think it's close through the first half of the game.
Yeah.
I think the second half, Georgia just kind of pulls away, though.
So
Florida will put in a late touchdown to keep it close, but they're
if
going to
it hits
miss. They're going to miss a 2-point conversion.
if it hits the over, it hits the over. Which I'm not saying anything, but I'm going to say Georgia's going to win.
Yep.
They're going to move on and win their 25th consecutive game in a row, which is just crazy. I saved a stat here real quick as I get off topic once again, but ready for this ones. Here's one. In the SEC, they rank defensively in the SEC ranks. They rank first in points per game allowed, total yards per game allowed, yards per play allowed, and first down, third down percentage. Anyway, Georgia's going to win. They're going to win their 25th consecutive win, their 35th consecutive regular season win, and their 24th consecutive SEC regular season win. And the final score will be 37-17. Dogs win.
All right.
We will move on now to what could possibly be the sneakiest, biggest game of the week. It's a 3:30 kick, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yes. It's a Fox game. Fox's A team will be there, so Maserati Marv and Joel Klatt will be there. If you're not getting that reference, you didn't watch the Penn State game. Sweet Jesus.
I don't like Joel Klatt, man.
Well, you have to deal with it. I know he went to Colorado. Okay, I understand. Okay? You can't fix that. We like Joel Klatt here.
I don't.
That just was uncalled for. Well, listen, Joel, if you're listening, I like you, okay? Dylan, don't listen to Dylan.
Hey, I'm just saying that I'm not a fan, not a fan.
So
he shows too much bias, okay, man? That's all I got to say.
Well, don't we all? Well, he's buddies with Colin Cowherd, okay?
Dude. Oh, my gosh. Let's not get off topic, but, man.
Yeah. So, Oregon and Utah, which is possibly a playoff elimination game. Well, it is because both teams have one loss. So it's a playoff elimination game. Both teams are coming 6-1. Both teams come in 3-1 in the Pac-12. It is number 8 in Oregon, number 13 Utah. Utah comes in with an 18-game home winning streak.
Yep.
It is going to be put on the line and probably their biggest game at home since last year's USC game.
Mm-hmm.
They won that game, obviously. They haven't lost since 2020. It was to USC, but that was without fans.
2020 was, pandemic year, so.
Yeah, we don't count that.
Exactly.
Nonetheless, Oregon comes in off of a win against Washington State. Utah comes off the win against USC. Dylan, anything big to really that takes I don't know, what's the word? Like catches your attention when you're talking about this game?
Biggest thing that catches my attention right away is that Utah gave up 32 points last week, which is alarming for a Utah team, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the biggest thing when we talk about Utah is normally how stout their defense is. They don't give up a ton of points. They normally create a lot of turnovers. And they didn't really do either of those last week against USC. They made Caleb Williams look a lot weaker than he normally does, but they still gave up pretty significant amount of points.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an Oregon offense that is probably around the same level as USC's offense.
Oh, I think it's better than USC.
In the same hemisphere.
They rank ahead of USC by one.
Yeah.
But
I think they're the same. Yeah, they're in the same area, but they have a much better defense than USC.
Oregon ranks 16th in the country in scoring defense.
Yeah.
We don't want to look where USC is.
Or that's why I immediately want to lean Oregon. Mm-hmm. Before we get too deep into it, I just want to. I think Oregon is just a better team right now.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
So it's honestly how I'm thinking is kind of how you were with the Oregon has a similar offense just from a points per game basis. They average about 2 more points than USC does. Oregon ranks second in the country in scoring offense. They score about 47 a game.
Yeah.
Utah ranks 11th in scoring defense with 15 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think this is going to come down to if Oregon's able to just kind of, or not Oregon, if Utah is able to run the ball well, I think they've got to be able to run the ball some. Because, I mean, I know Oregon doesn't give up a lot of rushing yards, only 95 they average about on defensively, but they've got to be able to show balance. I mean, if you saw what they did last week, they just ran all over USC. And, of course, everyone does that against USC. But I think they've got to be able to take some pressure off of Barnes because they're going to have to score points, yes. But I do think they're going to have to Mike Evans just scored a touchdown.
Nice.
They're going to have to be able to show some sort of balance. You know what I mean?
Put the game on behind me, yeah.
Nah, nobody wants to watch the Bucks lose.
So. I don't have Amazon Prime on there, so it's okay.
But yes, so I because if you look, let me find it right here. If you look here, Oregon or Utah ranks not very high in passing offense. They just haven't been that kind of team.
Yeah.
You know, and I really think that's going to hurt them here because if you can't throw the ball a lot, if you're not throwing the ball a lot and effectively against a team that throws the ball better than anybody really in Oregon, you're really going to be very dependent on your defense. And a lot of times, if we've ask Duke how that went with Florida State last week, you can only hold up for so long.
Yeah.
Before the dam breaks. I mean, realistically, that's kind of just what happened. I mean, Duke didn't throw the ball at all, and their defense was just kind of keeping them in it for as long as they could. So I just think Utah is just not going to be able to keep up. I love Utah. Utah's going to have to create turnovers. They're going to have to play really good defense. They're going to have to get off the field on third downs. They're one of the best teams in the country when it comes to third down defense. They rank second in the country. They only allow in 89 attempts on third down, they have only given up 22. That ranks one less than Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay. So issue then vice versa. Oregon ranks fifth in the country in third down offense. So that's going to be the big tail right there. Aside from passing, which Utah is going to have to find some sort of. Bryson Bart's going to have to pull another game out of his butt like he did last week because that's what they're going to need.
Yeah.
And I just don't see it happening. I think it's like a spot where I love Utah. I have a win total over on Utah. Like I need the Utes to keep winning. But I just see this is a tough one for even me to think. I kind of expected them to lose this. That's why that win against USC last week was so big.
Yeah.
Because now, listen, the Pac-12 is wide open. So even if they lose, they might be eliminated from the playoff, but who's to say they're eliminated from the Pac-12 title game? They have won the last two years. They've won the Pac-12 championship, and they finished the year with 4 losses.
Yeah,
if you count a bowl game, so there are plenty in it. I just think they're running into a buzzsaw in Oregon, who is nothing but get back to where they want to be, and I'm going to take the Ducks to win. Heartbreaker because I want the Utes to win. But I'm going to take the Ducks to win. I think it's a lower scoring game just because I think defensively, I think Utah's going to do enough.
Yep.
But I'm going to say 30. I don't know about low scoring, but 31-20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I had similar thoughts. I said Oregon wins 28-14. I just think Utah's defense can only hold up for so long.
Yeah.
Similar to what happened with Duke. And they just do not have the offense to keep up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
they looked fine last week, but everybody looks good against USC on offense.
But I mean, overall, so we both have Oregon covering. But, we say all this and watch Kyle Whittingham just pull some defensive stonewall out of his butt.
There's obviously always the chance that could happen.
You never bet against.
I just don't see it this week.
I don't either, but you never know.
Only for me, I don't think it's going to be because Oregon's offense is going to look great.
I think it's just going to be because
Oregon has a great defense too.
I think if Utah really wants to win this, they've got to be able to strike them in the mouth early. They've got to be able to score a couple points, maybe score get out to the front 10-0, and then just throw defensively, turn it on lockdown mode.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
All right. I can't wait to watch that. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to watch it because I'll be at the other game. But I'm going to definitely keep up with it. It'll be on the scoreboard. So I'll probably end up watching the condensed version.
Or I'll be at work. I'll be at work.
L take, that's a casual move right there.
Oh my God.
Casuals casuals don't watch college football on Saturdays. They go to fall weddings and they work on Saturdays. And that's here, Dylan. So casual.
Man, I need my money.
Boop, beep, beep, beep. Anyway,
all right,
I will be watching the highlight version of that game.
Yeah,
so we're gonna move on to our final headliner game because there's not really a whole lot of other big games this week. Next week's slate. Get your popcorn ready because we might have a 3-hour show talking about all the big games going on. Dylan, you might want to make room in your work schedule for that one. Anyway, we got Ohio State. We got Wisconsin, folks. It is a old-fashioned Big Ten battle just waiting to happen, I think. Because this year, more than other, Ohio State's offense hasn't done anything remotely to what it has done in the past.
Yeah.
And that's not a knack on the offense. The offense can be explosive as anybody's if they want, but they haven't. The quarterback situation, the inconsistency as a quarterback, and Kyle McCord has done what he's needed to do. He won them the game against Notre Dame.
Yep.
And, okay. But he didn't do much against Penn State. The defense has done what they needed to do. What is that?
It's a sword, mini sword.
As you can see, we've gone off topic here. If you're listening on Spotify, Dylan has a mini katana that he is really just showing off. It's got its
own little
nice.
Anyway,
so I think this is going to be a very low-scoring game. Another just punch you in the mouth. Who's going to outlast the other one? The over/under is 45.5. So they're not anticipating. Excuse me. God almighty, I got the hiccups. They're not anticipating many points being scored here.
Yeah.
The only way I think Wisconsin wins, and you never know, it's a 7:30 at Camp Randall. They're going to start jumping around. I think Wisconsin's got to be able to take this to the fourth quarter. And, if there's any coach to do it, it's Fickell. Mm-hmm. Luke Fickell will have the boys ready. I think the lack of quarterback play, they played with their backup last week. They did win, and they covered, so that's outstanding there. But that was Illinois. Now you got Wisconsin, or you got Ohio State. Wisconsin. You got Ohio State coming in. I circled this one as the potential, big upset game for Ohio State. You never know. Never know. I think this. Let me see the spread is for this. The spread is 14.5. I think Wisconsin covers that. I don't think they win, but I think they cover. I think this is a closer game than people are thinking. I think it just feels just like a low scoring, just like a freaking 27 to freaking, I don't know, 17 win.
Mm-hmm.
Like a just gutted out, like a late score, and they just kind of desperately pull ahead. Like, that's just how I think it. What do you think?
Personally, I think Ohio State creams them.
Okay. Now let's just move on, folks. We're just moving on.
I just don't think it's going to be close at all.
And that's fine. Last year or 2 years ago, they played last year, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they play almost every year.
Well, they played last time they played each other. Ohio State did whatever they wanted to, but they were in Ohio State. Let's not forget.
Yep.
I don't know.
In Ohio State. Obviously, there's a chance this is close, but just looking at some of these results, Ohio State has a better defense statistically. They have a better offense statistically. It just doesn't look like it matches up well for Wisconsin.
It doesn't.
For me.
It doesn't. I think Braylon Allen's going to have a big game.
Yeah.
Especially with the backup quarterback in, you've got to be able to rely on a run game. And I don't know if Ohio State doesn't give up any deep shots.
Yeah.
Wisconsin's got to be able to do something. And I think they're going to have to score points and maybe milk clock.
Yeah.
I think the only way
they want to have a chance, absolutely.
If Wisconsin wants to get this to the fourth quarter, they've got to be able to just.
They need to have at least like 60% of the time have control of the ball.
Yeah, they've got to be able to. They got to own the time of possession, and then I think if you're in the red zone, you can't settle on field goals.
You got to make Ohio State settle for field goals too. Mm-hmm. You got to make Ohio State waste drives,
force field goals, and get touchdowns. I mean, that's how it's going to have to be. So
yeah, absolutely.
I just think points are going to be at a premium here. I just don't. I think this is a closer game. People are not talking about as much because how I think just. If Wisconsin comes in with one less loss, this is a bigger game when it is.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State is on upset alert. I think they're going to win, but I don't see them covering.
I don't know. Just, I mean, Wisconsin's just been kind of meh this year for me.
And Meh has got them at the top of Meh has got them 3-1 conference play at the top of their division. So
yeah, but they've looked.
Listen. They might have lost 15-6 to Iowa, but
correct me if I'm wrong. If they lose this week, they fall back behind Iowa.
Honestly, I could give a rat's cheeks tail about what happens to that Big Ten West. I don't really care who's the sacrificial lamb. I would love Fickle's boys. I have them in the Big Ten title game, so give me the Fickle boys.
Yeah, no, that's fair, but it's not happening.
Well, listen, just because you're a Debbie Downer doesn't mean
I'm not a Debbie Downer. I'm a realist.
No,
I'm a realist. If we're being real right now, it's a bad team.
If I'm being real right now, Wisconsin ranks 38th in defense, and Ohio State ranks 5th. So we're done. They're screwed. We're screwed. Just let's cancel the pod. Just kidding. All right. I think. What's your score prediction? Did we even say it? We did. You said what was because you said they were going to blow them out.
I said 38-10 Ohio State wins.
So what you're saying is we should hit the over on that one.
Yes.
Too. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm saying I'm going to change it up. I'm going to go 20. Yeah, no, never mind. 27-17. I'm going to keep it. All right, we're going to move Ohio State. I said that. I think Ohio State wins. I think it's close, though, and Wisconsin covers.
Okay.
All right, we're moving on to upset alert time.
Yep.
Where I got a bunch of games for you.
I know you do. I saw that list. I'm like, oh.
Kind of like, whoa, take it easy.
Yeah.
Just easy. All right. So as this usually goes, I'm going to list off a bunch of games that are happening this week. And Dylan, you have the rundown pulled up in front of you too, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask who is going to get upset this week.
Yes.
Who is going to fail to cover, which seems most likely to fail to cover but win, and who is just going to absolutely cream whoever they're playing. Also, regarding one of the teams that are on Texas, Malik Murphy has been named the starting quarterback. So thought I should mention that.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing.
All right, so I'm going to start off with, or I'm going to read them off. Colorado at UCLA. UCLA is a 16.5-point favorite. That is the ABC primetime game. Herb Street and Fowler will be on that call. All right. What was the other one I deleted? Oh, gotcha. Duke, Louisville. Duke coming in. I think Riley Leonard's not playing. I haven't checked. So
he's not playing.
Okay, so Jack Plummer and the gang are going to be hosting the Blue Devils. We'll see how Duke responds after falling. They're falling to FSU last week. I think their defense is going to play well. But Louisville comes in as a 4.5-point favorite. OU is at Kansas. This is the big noon kickoff game. OU is a 10-point favorite. FSU goes to Wake Forest this week. I think it's a 2-game road trip for them.
Yes.
And then FSU is a 20.5-point favorite yes, it's still that. South Carolina heads to Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a 14-point favorite. Oh, that is a just gross game to watch.
Yeah.
Houston's at Kansas State. Kansas State seems to have found their footing and just is taking teams out one by one. And if I expect how it is this week, it sets up a showdown in Austin next week for the Wildcats and the Longhorns. That leads me right into Kansas State 17.5-point favorite. Texas hosts BYU without their quarterback, which even adds a little bit more to it because Texas is going to probably roll into next week without their starting quarterback, and Kansas State seems to have found a starting quarterback. So Texas 17.5-point favorite as well. Oregon State's at Arizona, and the Fighting Jed Fishes of the world host the Beavers. Oregon State 3-point favorite, so it is.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. That was coming. I could not stop that.
That's what she said. Oregon State.
Oh man,
that is. I mean, what a Pac-12 After Dark we got going on tonight. T's and P's the Pac-12 After Dark, counting down the days, and then USC at Cal. Vegas doesn't see very hopeful on USC as they are only a 10.5-point favorite. If you want to throw any other,
it's dropped. More.
Yeah, it was 11. It opened at 11. It's down to 10.5. If you want to throw some other ones in, Kentucky hosts Tennessee this week. Tennessee is a 3.5-point favorite on the road. That is a 7:00 game.
Mm-hmm.
How about Air Force at Colorado State, 14-point favorite, and a lot of just sleepy, sleepy trap games this week.
Yeah.
And we'll finish one off with Washington at Stanford. They are a 27.5-point favorite this week. Dylan, let's hear him.
Okay. So I do think the most likely upset for me is OU at Kansas.
Okay.
I just think going in, they've already said Kansas has sold out the stadium.
Oh, the Jayhawks.
It's a complete sellout.
Rock
They've already announced
baby.
it. 2 days before the game, it's already sold out. Kansas has looked pretty good at times this year, pretty bad at times. They've been up and down. But OU has looked just flat out not aggressive at times. Like the game against UCF, they just don't take opportunities.
No.
They play extremely conservative on offense at times.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes you scratch your head. I think this is the game that OU could blow.
They could.
I think this is the game to circle it. This is the game to circle because it will ruin their last year in the Big 12.
You want to talk about chaos? I mean, just absolutely happening. Yeah. If they lose, if they lost, let's say there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams with one loss teams in the Big 12. Mm-hmm. I mean, just an utter chaos. Not to mention a couple teams underneath that with 2 losses that are still right there. So, I mean, just asking for chaos there.
Yeah.
So, who's your team that is going to just obliterate their opponent this week?
I don't know if there's really one of those this week. That's the hardest part about this list.
Yeah.
I think the most likely, because here's the thing, I think Florida State beats Wake Forest pretty well, but 20.5 is a big number.
And FSU, I should look up their record against the spread this year because I feel like they don't cover. They don't cover very well.
I think the only game they didn't cover was the
Here, I'll find it.
Boston College game.
Let me see real quick. Georgia is like abysmal against the spread this year. Here we go. FSU is 4-2 this year against the spread. The over-unders are 4-2 as well. And away though, they were 1-1. The last 10 though, they're 4-2. As a favorite, they're 4-2 this year. To be honest, they have been favored in every game though, I think, this year.
Except for LSU.
Oh, okay. Wake is 2-2 at home this year though. 2-1 as an underdog. So,
I mean, Buffalo just won. But I was just going to say, this Wake team is kind of just, it seems like they don't have an identity right now.
They had a hell of a win last week, and it was awesome to watch.
They had a good win, but then they also lost a couple weeks ago to Virginia Tech 30-13.
Listen, don't count out the Hokies, okay? They are killing Syracuse right now.
We killed them.
Well, listen. Okay, the Hokies are on a different playing field.
Wake Forest won by 3 against Old Dominion.
All right, listen, Dylan. Don't need you just crapping on Virginia Tech like that.
They got killed by Georgia Tech at home.
I hope you know Virginia Tech is 3-1 in conference play and en route to beating Syracuse tonight. So let's just the disrespect
I'm just stating some things.
No, don't want to hear.
They lost to Georgia Tech at home, 30-16.
Virginia Tech or Georgia Tech, solid ball club. What can we say?
I don't think they cover though. I think they win by probably 2 touchdowns, 14 points.
All right.
But I think if any game
It's
a complete smacking. It's probably going to be the I would say probably the UCLA Colorado game.
Yeah.
Just because I think Colorado feels like they've lost a step.
That's a big spread. But yeah, I can see that. Coming off a bye though, we'll see how they do.
Yeah. I've noticed that all the hype around that program has just disappeared.
Well, that's what happens when you lose 3 times and you blow a 29-0 lead to Stanford. So yeah.
On a weekday.
Hey, how about a sneaky game out west in the Mountain West this week? 6-1 teams, UNLV and Fresno, taking it on at 10:30. Your boy will probably end up for some reason watching. Oh my God, I'm just a sicko for this stuff. All right. You have one more to answer, right?
Oh, who do I think covers, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I think there's several of these. I think Cal will cover. I think BYU will cover. I think South Carolina will cover.
All right. My turn.
Yep.
So I am going. Whoa, take it easy.
Hey, sorry, man. Sorry.
Listen, take a deep breath. The team that's gonna just run the other team out of the stadium this week is going to be. Let's pick one. Spin the wheel and see where it lands. I'm going to take Kansas State to just kill Houston this week. I think Kansas State has just found something out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Avery Johnson has just sparked this team. They crushed TCU last week. And I think Houston, it was an all-out effort to try to beat Texas. They had Texas on the ropes. They got screwed by the refs at the end of the game on a first they should have been awarded a first down, but they ruled it 4th and short. They didn't get it. So I think just demoralizing loss there at home, and now you got to go to Kansas State, and Kansas State's going to kick the ever-living crap out of them. So that is that game. The team that's on high, DEFCON 5 upset alert this week, to me, look out for the Neil Brownies, the Fighting Mounties heading to UCF this week. No, just teasing. Actually, it might be a game where
I think they're favored.
They are No, UCF's a 7-point favorite. You know what? There's my pick. There it is. West Virginia at UCF. Mounties taking them home. Trust the
I can't believe you say that. I can't believe that.
Trust the climb. If I'm going to have to choose outside of that, how about NC State's a 10-point dog at home with Clemson coming to town? Clemson's a 10-point. Oh, man.
Clemson wins that game.
Do they, though?
Yes.
I'm just teasing. Another team that's going to upset the other one. Yeah, I like that Kansas pick.
Yeah.
And then who's going to cover?
I think a lot of teams are going to cover this week, man. It's crazy.
I could see.
I think the Fighting Mormons cover for sure.
I just am horrible, making a decision. I should just have these pre-picked out already. Maybe next time I will. I just never have time to do that. Never have time. I'm just kind of scrolling.
Yep.
I got to pick one, Hunter. Come on, pick one. Pick one.
Come on, Hunter. Let's go.
Come on. Pressure's on. Who am I doing? I'm picking the team to cover.
Yeah.
I mean, I took already. I think Tennessee covers against Kentucky. Kentucky
Good
stinks. Tennessee plays good defense, plays good enough defense, and I think Joe Milton bounces back. If he can bounce back. I don't know how that works out.
He'll bounce back.
I had a stat from last week or from earlier this week about that Bama game that I forgot to mention. It's just a wild Tennessee flip. Ready for this one. Tennessee first half stats: 20 points, 375 total yards, 6 of 11 on third down, and had forced 3 sacks. Second half, they only had 1 sack on defense, 0 points, only 129 yards of offense, and 2 of 7 on third down. Bama, 7 points first half, 133 total yards, 2 of 6 on third, 2 turnovers. Second half, 27 points, 225 yards, 3 sacks. That's not good. But
hey,
Vols are going to bounce back. Vols bouncing back this week. All right, there we go.
All right, now let's give up To your best bets.
Let's give up the best bets. Best bet train keeps rolling along. 14, 13-1 this week. We are above 500, boys.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that matters. UGA, Florida over 49. It was a 47 this week, earlier this week. It was a 49, went down to 47, back up to 49 for some reason. Take the points. I think either Georgia's going to blow them out, but they will give up some points. So hammer that. I think Kansas State, now that I'm looking at it, I think Kansas State covers 17.5. I think they will cover that.
Okay.
I like Coastal Carolina +4.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. They have Marshall coming to town.
That's
it's +3.5 now. Get it +4 if you want. Who else do I have? West Virginia +7 now.
Terrible pick.
Nope. Iowa State's going to win. I think they'll cover. I need to find the line real quick again.
Best team at Iowa.
For the Cyclones. How about the Cyclones? Again, are right there, 3-1 in Big 12 play. Iowa State, 3-point favorite. Take them. Get them at 2.5 if you want to as well. Oklahoma State is my final pick. Here we are. They have Cincinnati coming to town. Oklahoma State is a 7-point favorite. So, we review it. UGA, Florida, over 49. Oklahoma State minus – what was that? Excuse me. Oklahoma State -7. Iowa State -3. And West Virginia +7. Those are the best bets of the week.
Yep.
All right. We finished in a great time at 51 minutes, which is outstanding.
Yep.
Make sure
perfect time for me because I got to go.
Yes, Dylan's got to go. But before you go, make sure you guys are subscribing.
Yes.
Enjoy the video this week. Enjoy football. I'm going to enjoy football. Hopefully, Georgia doesn't squander this again.
I'm going to try to enjoy as much as I can before I got to go to work. I am going to go see Shaquille O'Neal at UCF. If anybody sees this, go to UCF's campus. 10 a.m. Saturday morning. Shaquille O'Neal will be there for DJing.
Here we go. Can't send this podcast off any better than that.
Yes.
So watch us. Watch, like, subscribe, listen on Spotify.
Yes.
Enjoy the weekend. Peace out.
See you guys.